Page 24, Twilight Thoughts. On page 23, they're introducing some more ledger line notes. This time it's for the treble clef. It's underneath the treble clef. See, we already had the ledger line notes above the bass clef, which went up here. Now we're going to get the ledger line notes below the treble clef, which is down here. See, there's an overlap, and there needs to be. It comes in handy in the music. As long as you understand how ledger lines work, you can just figure out the notes. However, the only notes they're going down to is to an F, and that's 3 ledger lines. And in my opinion, you ought to memorize them eventually. You don't have to stop to get them right now, but eventually you need to memorize these. You know, 1 ledger line below treble clef is middle C. We've had that forever. 2 ledger lines, and then there's an A, and 3 ledger lines then would be an F. And then the spaces are the other notes. I'll leave that up to you to learn those notes eventually. I want to talk about this Twilight Thoughts because we get these notes here. It is 2.5 lines long, not very long. Treble and bass clef, no sharps or flats in the key signature, so we're in the key of C major. Make sure you go do the C major scale now. And on these scales, if you know the scale like you should by now, you should be doing these 2 octaves up and down. Make sure you're doing the trill exercise and the accents and everything I explain in there. It will help when it comes to playing the music. Then 4/4 time signature. Let's take it one hand at a time. Make sure we got all of these notes okay. Rhythm's not a problem, but you have some dotted rhythms in here. So you're starting out on 4 on middle C, and that puts you in this position. You don't need these other finger numbers in the right hand. You're not moving around. You're right here. The second line, you're going to move a little bit. That's okay. But for the first line, you just need to know where to put the hand, and that's it. You need to read the notes. So it's 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. Okay. Third line, reach up. They want third finger. If you can't reach third finger here, then go ahead and use 4 or 5. It doesn't matter. But you need to bring up on the next note, you need the C with the thumb. Needs to be with the thumb. So I don't care which finger you use to play the first note with, but the second note's got to be with thumb. So I could do 5 and 1. I could do 4 and 1. If you have really big hands, you can do 3 and 1. 1 and 2. And then they want third finger. Well, that's a little inconvenient. So I'll just adjust fingering a little bit so I can do that. In the second measured second line here, I'm going to put a little finger on that half note. Just scratch up. Now I can reach third finger. Just come down a little bit. Here. So put fifth finger on the half note. And then the last line is the chords. It's an A and a C. And an A flat and a C. And then a G and a C. Here, C. Now, I suggest, because we get this kind of pattern a lot in music, this is not how we finger it. So let's just finger it the way we normally would. And that is, for the first one, I'm going to use 1 and 4, not 2 and 4. And then 2 and 4, and then 1 and 4. All I'm doing is 1, 2, 1. I'm just coming across. You need to be able to do this anyway. So do it that way. 1, 2. See, they're not having you go over the thumb yet. They'll get around to it eventually, but right now, just go ahead and do it. You can do that. Left hand, 2 and 4, C and E, and then reach down. If you can connect and do it. If not, you gotta lift up. Now, what you can do, rather than 4 and 2, you can use 3 and 2. This way, it makes it a little easier to reach this. Because really, that's the thing. So we can just use 2 and 3 on those. And then the second line come up. Thumb comes up. And then back down. Just that reach down. Reach down. Put the hands together. The left hand's got whole notes. Second line, we're here. last line is here, and then here. So the only notes changing is the middle one. These stay the same. And now here. You got 4 notes down there at the end. And hold the right hand down. It's a whole note when you play that. So you end up with that. So you put the hands together and then go back, get rid of any hesitations anywhere. You want to get to where you can play most of this without looking at the keyboard. You may have to look down occasionally, but don't be staring at the keyboard. Try and keep your eyes on the music. And then we can add in the articulation. The phrasing, connect to lift up. Just lift up and the left hand connect it as best you can. You can't really, but do the best you can. The fermata in the last measure. The fermata in the left hand is really what's controlling. Usually it's the fermata on the smallest note controls what's going on. The fermata in the right hand just hangs on to match whatever the left hand is doing. And so the hold comes on beat 3. Even though the right hand has it on beat 1, well, it's the only note it's got. But so it's 1, 2, 3, and then you hold it out. I do it with a metronome. I'll just hold that half note out 4 counts instead of 2 and then lift up. When you're playing it, you just feel how long it seems right. And when you feels right, you lift up. Then the dynamics, P for piano, soft. This left hand has to be very soft. When you get to the second line, you have the hairpin to go up to moderately soft. Here. Right there. You're moderately soft there. Don't get moderately soft until. So you're starting the second line soft. And a little here. You may have to practice that. And then all of a sudden back down to soft. And the last line is pianissimo for very soft, and this is both hands here. There's no real melody. This is it's like an amen at the end of a sacred piece, and it's a chord, a chord progression, or a progression of chords, or a series of chords, and that's all this. You got this chord, then this chord, and this chord. And so it's both hands here, very soft. Don't use the soft pedal. That's cheating. You learn to do this with the hands. Yeah. Then the speed. Andante again is just a nice stroll. Drag, but it's just a gentle stroll. Then the interpretation. Well, again, the natural accents. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then after that, you just kind of got to get into the music, because the phrasing given and all that, the dynamics given, that's part of the interpretation. Maybe you don't play the whole first line, it's soft. Maybe you get a little louder or softer as you feel it. It's up to you. Now they've added pedal at the very end on the last, those 3 chords. And that's fine if you want pedal on those. I didn't use a pedal anywhere else. I don't know that I would want to use pedal there either. I don't want to change the sound that much. However, for the practice of using the pedal, let's talk about it. The hands do their thing first, and then the pedal. I want to start the sound before I release the overtones. So that last line, I'm going to push the notes down first, and then the pedal. And I'm going to change the pedal after I play the notes, so it overlaps a little. And then at the very end, the pedal and the hands come up to all at the same time whenever you want. And that's the pedal. I don't know. However, the one thing about pedal technique, if you're going to use the pedal, you put your foot on the pedal at the beginning of the piece and you leave it on the pedal through the whole piece. Don't be putting your foot on the pedal and taking it off and putting it on. No dancing allowed here. Just put it on there and leave it on there for the whole piece. Please don't copy me. Get into the music and feel it and make it yours. Let's play this together very slowly and check the notes and the rhythms. It's slow anyway. I'm not going to do any dynamics. I'm going to play everything about the same. I need you to hear the notes. We're not performing it. On the fermata at the bottom, I'm going to hold that half note in the left hand 4 counts instead of 2. So I'll give us 4 counts. Let's play it together. 1, 2, ready, go. And 2, 4. 1 and 2, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.